Welcome back to Those Vegan Chefs. I'm Stefan, and this channel is dedicated to making you a better vegan cook. Today we're making a delicious vegan Bolognese recipe full of flavor and nutrients. The best part of this dish is we're not using one, not two, but 3 types of mushrooms to give this dish a unique and savory taste. We have shiitakes, button mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. Together they create a perfect blend of flavors that will make the Bolognese sauce rich and satisfying. So let's get cooking. We're gonna do a fine dice of celery, carrot, we're just gonna mince the garlic, and we're gonna dice the onion. Start with our carrot first. We're gonna cut the carrot in half. We're gonna cut strips of carrot. Now we're gonna make julienne cuts. We'll just do half. We're gonna repeat this same process with our celery. Cut the celery into strips. Cut the celery into a brunoise. Time to dice our onion. We're gonna do that as small as we can as well. That's our onion. Put it with our nice little pile of mirepoix. Last, we have our garlic. Give it a smash. Garlic is minced. So I like to cut the mushrooms into smaller pieces because it helps with the food processor. Chop them into equal size, smaller pieces. When we have the whole button mushroom, it tends to just kind of roll in the food processor and just rounds it off. And that way you have like a big one and then you have a little one. This way we'll have equal size ground button mushrooms. So we're off to grind them. We're back with our mushrooms. It's a nice small grinding of the button mushrooms. Perfect. We're actually gonna get started cooking because the portobello and shiitake we actually toss in a molasses liquid smoke marinade and roast in the oven. So they're not part of this first cooking process. So we have our large pot. We're gonna have it over medium-low heat. We're gonna hit it with a generous 1/4 cup of olive oil. We're gonna add our carrots, the celery, onions, basically all of it. We're gonna sweat our vegetables until they're translucent and soft. We're gonna season them with a generous pinch of salt at this point. Next, we're adding our red miso, poultry seasoning, cashews, raw, chopped medium fine. We're gonna let the poultry seasoning release its aromas. We're gonna start to cook the red miso. We're talking 1 minute here, just a little saute. I really like the little bits of cashew. They're gonna add texture, they get really soft, and it adds a little bit of fat to the sauce without it becoming oily. Okay, that's perfect. We're now gonna add our ground button mushrooms. We're gonna allow those to sweat down. Make sure we scrape the sides of the pot down. We're gonna add 3/4 cup dry white wine. We're gonna reduce the white wine down till it's almost dry. The white wine is reduced by more than half. I'm comfortable with that. It's smelling fantastic. Now we're gonna add our Italian crushed tomatoes. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of vegetable stock. Now we need to allow time to work its magic. The sauce is gonna slowly reduce, concentrating and intensifying the flavors. We're gonna reduce the heat to low, and we're gonna partially cover the sauce, leaving just that small gap right there. And while the sauce is cooking, we're gonna finish our mushrooms, so let's go. The prep for our shiitakes and portobello mushrooms are very easy. We're gonna make a small dice. The button mushrooms are gonna provide a ton of umami and richness in the Bolognese. but I wanted to have a variety of textures and flavors in the sauce. So we're picking shiitakes because they get really kind of have this wonderful bite to them, and they absorb the flavor of the marinade very nice. Now I also chose portobello because it's such a meaty mushroom and has a ton of big flavors to it. So that way we have 3 mushrooms bringing a mix of textures, flavors, all making the sauce very dynamic and not just one-dimensional. And let's make sure we stir the sauce every once in a while to make sure the bottom isn't sticking. This looks like a lot of mushroom, but as we all know, we're gonna throw this in the oven and we're gonna have about half, which is totally fine. So we have our portobello next, and we're actually gonna cut the portobello in half, creating 2 discs. This is gonna help create more of an equal dice. And this does not have to be perfect because we're gonna roast it in the oven and then we're gonna throw it into the Bolognese. So it's gonna cook more and it's gonna continue to reduce in size. So the marinade is super simple. We have roughly a tablespoon of molasses. We have a teaspoon of liquid smoke, and then we have a teaspoon and a half of olive oil, generous pinch of salt. Mix those 3 together, 4 I guess if you count the salt. Essentially we're gonna add our mushrooms and we're gonna mix really, really well. We're gonna use our spatula. We're really gonna make sure we try to coat the mushrooms as evenly as possible. Parchment pan. We're gonna put them on our pan. We're gonna roast in the oven, 425 degrees for about 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, off to the oven. And we're back from the oven. 14 minutes later, we have our roasted mushrooms. Let's give the Bolognese a stir. It's reducing, it's looking good. This is gonna cook for about 45 minutes. And our next step is to add our roasted mushrooms. We're basically gonna warm the mushrooms up. Amazing. Look how beautiful that looks. And then traditionally it's finished with a little bit of cream, so we're gonna add about a tablespoon of cashew puree, which is half a cup of cashews, 1 cup of plant milk cooked together. We're gonna increase the heat a little bit. We're gonna incorporate our cashew puree. We're gonna let this just kind of come up to just under a boil. I have some penne pasta cooking. It's time to plate it. The Bolognese is complete. The combination of the shiitake, the portobello, the button mushroom, the little cashew pieces have all come together and created a flavorful sauce that's full of texture, richness. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just gonna actually dig in and get to work on this bad boy because I'm starving. That bite lived up to all of my expectations and then a little bit more. Do you know what's missing right now? I'm looking around and I don't see it, because I don't have the ultimate garlic bread right here. That would just top this whole thing off for me. So make the Bolognese today, make your house smell amazing, enjoy your dinner, and as always, I'll see you next week. Bye.